Donald Trump is absolutely losing it, as even Republicans are right now threatening him with impeachment. A Republican Congress member from Nebraska, Congressmember Don Bacon, says that if Donald Trump dare invade Greenland, that Donald Trump will be immediately impeached. And he said that there would be massive Republican support to impeach Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's been getting bad news all of last night and into the morning, and he's not handling it well. I mean, the polling data for Donald Trump is absolutely atrocious. Is Donald Trump too old to be the president? The latest YouGov poll, 49% of Americans say yes, he's too old. Only 36% say no. So plus 13 people think that percent say that Donald Trump is too old. Would it be accurate to call America a shining city on the hill today? 60% of Americans say no, only 22% say yes in this YouGov poll. Is Trump changing America for the better or for the worse? Only 34% of Americans say that Donald Trump is changing America for the better. And that 35%, 34% is basically Donald Trump's cult. That number doesn't really move. Maybe it'll get slightly less, but the rest of America, independents and Democrats, can't stand this regime. Let's talk about the net support for Donald Trump's military intervention in Iran. Negative 19%. Cuba, negative 26%. Colombia, negative 29%. Mexico, negative 30%. Greenland, negative 48%. How about the favorability of ICE? Negative 20% right now. In generic ballot polling, Democrats are starting to take a significant lead right now, up 5 in a generic congressional poll. How about the following? Do you support Trump invoking the Insurrection Act in response to protests against ICE? Only 35% of Americans would support that. Overwhelmingly, Americans oppose. The U.S. military operation in Venezuela was illegal or legal. Way more Americans believe it was illegal. 46% illegal, 31% legal. How about this? Do you think America should take control of other countries by force if it serves our interests? 67% say no, 12% say yes. How do Canadians feel about Americans right now? Shout out Maple Midas. Amongst Canadians, right now, America's popularity is net negative 50%. Way to go, Donald. Negative 50% from our once top allies, where that number was, as high as can be. Now it's net negative 50. Now, Donald Trump's been doing a bunch of deranged and unhinged things. We talked about his furry party that he was throwing at Mar-a-Lago with the people wearing the dog outfits, really weird behavior. And that follows Donald Trump throwing all of these events, the Great Gatsby parties at Mar-a-Lago, while the American people are suffering, living paycheck to paycheck, if they're lucky enough to get a paycheck, psychologically tortured by this regime, having their health care ripped away by this regime that refuses to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies and then tries to scam Americans into believing they're going to give us cash or something and we'll negotiate with the insurance companies ourselves. Yeah, sure, Donald. As Americans can't afford homes, as foreclosure rates right now, really the highest since the Great Recession. I can go on and on and on. Let's talk about what Trump's doing. Trump just bought between $250,000 to $500,000 in Victoria's Secret bonds last month. Very busy there, Donald, buying those Victoria's Secret bonds. As one of Donald Trump's former top supporters, David Brody, said, who's over at the Christian Broadcasting Network. So for those keeping track at home, Trump is looking to make Iran great again. He's serving as acting president of Venezuela, is chairman of the Gaza Board of Peace, and literally had the U.S. Institute of Peace renamed in his name. What's next? CEO of Greenland, new slogan, make the Western Hemisphere great again. Hey, MAGA, you good with this? Let me know. Well, you kind of enabled him there, David. Also, you do mention Iran. It should be noted that, remember back on January 2nd, Donald Trump said to the people of Iran, go out there, take to the streets. I've got your back. If one protester gets killed, Donald Trump said, we will come in there, guns a-blazing, Donald Trump said, and we'll take down the Ayatollah. Okay, well then Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and others lobbied Donald Trump against striking Iran, citing fears that regime change could destabilize the region and also that you wouldn't be able to take out the Ayatollah in one swift strike. So then Donald Trump just posts the following. Fox News. He's quoting Fox News. Fox News. Iranian protester will no longer be sentenced to death after Trump's warnings. Likewise, others. This is good news. Hopefully it will continue. That's the message from the President of the United States. After mass slaughter in Iran, could be 1,000, 5,000, 20,000 Iranians slaughtered by the Ayatollah when Trump said, I've got your back. Well, Donald Trump says, this is good news. Good news. I spoke to the Ayatollah and I trust the Ayatollah now. Really? Also, Donald Trump posting great financial numbers were released today. Our country has never done better. So many people ask me why, and it's because the tariffs. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars with virtually no inflation, and our national security has never been as strong as it is today. God bless the USA. Really? Well, first off, weren't you saying last year that the tariffs brought in trillion? So now we're at the billions? Didn't you say 21 trillion? So how much is sitting on that tariff shelf of yours there, Donald? And then you say no inflation and our national security's never been stronger. I think we've never been weaker. You have our former allies from Europe sending special forces into Greenland to protect against an invasion by the United States. You have wars everywhere right now. And didn't you promise you would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours? Oh, that was another lie. And while you've invaded Venezuela, propped up the Delcy Rodriguez regime, she was just Maduro's VP, and then you have Diosdado Cabello, Maduro's enforcer. They're all still there. The gangs are around Venezuela, the authoritarian gangs that call themselves colectivos. They're around there suppressing anyone who's pro-opposition, pro-democracy. But guess what? Guess what Donald got? He got a Qatari bank account. Yeah, so rather than take the oil money from Venezuela and move it to the United States Treasury Department for we the people, that would seem to be where it would go, right? No, it's going to a shady Qatari bank account. Where what's going to happen with that bank account? Who controls that bank account? What, our banks and our Treasury Department is not secure enough? The money has to go to Qatar? And maybe that's the reason that Donald Trump really wants Delcy Rodriguez there, because she would be agreeable with him as part of a corrupt broader bargain with Russia about how the money's going to be handled. And for Donald Trump, he wants it, I think, for himself. So in my opinion, he then brings it to Qatar, where it's going to be outside of the oversight of Congress. An oversight. Could you imagine if, you know where I'm going, former President Biden opens up a Qatari account, gets a Qatari jet, does business with Qatar? Could you imagine what we would be talking about? But here's the thing. These MAGAs are the ultimate gaslighters, and they lead with, going after Hunter Biden this, Hunter Biden that. The Hunter Biden stuff was he was on a board that paid him $50,000, a month? a board, by the way, where he was representing the pro-democracy side on a gas company that had previous Russian links, where he had sat on boards before. He went to Yale Law School. He sat on the Amtrak board. So he had experience on boards, and he made, it wasn't like millions of dollars, but he made $50,000, a lot of money still, right? But you know what? Don Jr. has the Executive Branch Club, $500,000 to meet Don Jr. Qatari bank accounts for Donald Trump where the oil profits are going. What are we even doing here, folks? For real, for real. But Donald Trump says, I'm still going to have Machado show up. So he has Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader, who's supposed to be the pro-democracy leader show up. She's the one who won the Nobel Peace Prize, and she's had to beg Donald Trump. Oh, you're so good, MAGA this, MAGA that. Oh, you really won the election. I had such respect for Machado. I understand why she thinks she has to go down this path with him. But it's kind of pathetic. But, whatever. It is what it is. But she handed him her Nobel Peace Prize. I did a whole video on this. And it was framed, and he took it. He stole her Nobel Peace Prize. And you're like, well, she handed it to him. He didn't steal it. It's her Nobel Peace Prize. It's not his Peace Prize. That's what he wanted to do. And now he's saying that he's creating a peace board where they're going to give out peace board awards. I mean, what are we even doing here, folks? The Peace Board Awards by Donald Trump. And then he has his proxies like Randy Fine, MAGA Republican from Florida, continued to talk about invading Greenland. Here, play this clip right here.
I want to talk a little bit more about that. And if we take Greenland, can we get out of NATO and stop paying, $50 billion a year?
Well, the fact of the matter is NATO needs the United States a lot more than the United States needs NATO. Greenland is part of the Western Hemisphere. It is not part of Europe. And it is all that stands between us and Russian forces that could seek to inflict damage on our country, and Russian and Chinese trade routes where they're up to nefarious activities. We have seen what happened in Venezuela when bad people take over a country that used to be an ally. We cannot allow the same thing to happen in Greenland. So Greenland should be part of the United States, and my bill simply lines Congress up to stand behind the president as he takes the appropriate actions to protect the United States.
These people are just utter maniacs in any event. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers, and thank you so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.